we're moving into Avengers Endgame. If y'all skipped over Game of Thrones, welcome over to Avengers Endgame. You skipped a lot.
But this is worthwhile. This is worthwhile. This is a two-parter. This is part two.
This is part two.
We could do your song again. We could come back in. We just came in for part two. Just come in.
Oh. I'm a Blerd, he a Blerd, you a Blerd, what? I'm a Blerd, you a Blerd, he a Blerd, what? I'm out.
Ooh. Yeah. Welcome to part two.
Part two.
Part two of Blerd Empire.
Blerd Empire. I'm Royce, Sinbad, Paige, Byron.
Yes.
And I hope I actually make this two parts, because if we just keep it as one long thing, then that's gonna.
No, we'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
All right, man.
It'll still work, even if
no, it's one long thing, but we just acting like
it's two parts.
This is the second half of the first part.
Because you have the right to artistically choose how you want this to go.
This is true.
Royce, we don't have enough followers to worry about that, right? And if we get one of them people that worry about the lighting, your show was too long. Well, maybe what happens, your attention span got to
It's very true. Very true. So, Avengers Endgame, an 11-year journey.
Yeah.
Started by
who?
Well, started by Marvel.
Blade.
Started by Blade.
Started by Blade.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But long story short, this all wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Blade.
Yes.
So shout out to the people behind Blade. Shout out to Wesley.
Find that on YouTube. The interview where his producer's first name is Ben. I think Ben Nahi. Where he talks about this all started with Blade.
Started with Blade.
Marvel only made 25,000 on Blade.
Thank you. Because they kept giving it to people. Yeah.
They kept giving it away.
They kept giving it away. Just giving it out to people.
Exactly. And then it was restarted with a movie called Iron Man.
Yep.
Where people learned about a character starring Robert Downey Jr.
Yes. Perfect. Was it better casting? Any better casting?
They're literally
That's the best casting I've ever seen.
Other than Blade.
Other than Blade, I was like,
Other than Blade.
We're just gonna talk about Blade today.
I'm like, are we going
You know
to
what?
get
We
to
gotta do a Blade.
Avengers?
No.
We do a Blade episode.
We gotta do a Blade. We gotta do a Blade
I'm trying
episode.
so hard to be patient.
Let's go Blade. We'll do a Blade episode.
We'll do a Blade episode.
Okay.
But Avengers Endgame, guys.
Yes.
This
Blade
happened.
should have been in it.
Spoilers again. Spoiling everything.
Man, ain't worry about the spoilers. 72 hours, baby.
So stop.
Part two.
Stop listening.
Part two is the same as part one. 72 hours, fool.
Spoilers. So again, we'll start off. General thoughts, guys. How'd y'all feel? Thoughts?
Thought it was
emotions?
amazing. I thought it was fantastic. And
Satisfied.
I didn't cry at all.
Satisfied.
I didn't cry at all.
No,
I'm lying.
I didn't cry at the
hard,
theater.
man.
I cried. You know what? At home that night.
Worse than you cried.
I got
It hit
home.
you when you got
It hit
home.
me. I like
Because
this.
you have to hide those.
Well,
Get back
no,
in
it is.
there,
It wasn't
team.
even just them. It wasn't even just what happened with man. 72 hours. Tony died. So
Spoilers.
man, spoiler. That's what it
Iron
is.
Man's
72
dead.
hours. When Tony, that's why we call it spoiler alert, fool. So it was not just Iron Man. It's a journey we all took as a family. And even him as an actor and a guy that I like, and I said, when we're gonna have a chance to hang with somebody like that for 11 years again? Because I'm 63 years old. I don't know if there's gonna be a new superhero run like Star Wars for me. Planet of the Apes. We were talking about. I got closure on Planet of the Apes. I got closure on Star Wars. I said, I got closure.
We're about to.
Another podcast.
We're about to in December.
Yeah.
Another podcast.
Yeah. But I'm closure because I just want to know how the apes came to talk.
Wait, what are
Caesar.
we?
Are we
Where
talking
are
about-
we now?
Caesar.
No, he was talking about how we got closure
I got
with Planet of the
closure.
Apes.
Oh.
It started back in the 70s.
Oh my God, we're very
I got closure. So
And it came back.
with Avengers, with this Endgame, we used to call it Endgame. Remember, there's your generation, but there's my generation who all the Star Wars comic books. We, no matter what happens in the rest of our life, wherever my life goes, I'm cool. I'm satisfied. Like I ate a meal. I said, you know what? You couldn't have ended it better. Tony Stark, hero, as same as in Game of Thrones when she came in and saved. It's Starks are just winners. They're just winners. So I'm like this. And that's the sentimental side of me. Said, wow, when will I ever see another run like this where I actually fell in love with characters?
Right.
Yes.
And I felt like that about Wolverine. I said,
yes.
when do I ever get another run at my age where I get to watch? Because now they're old.
Yeah.
Now the cats who play the superheroes are older.
Yeah, we get a whole new phase with a whole new batch of actors, and so far, all the other X-Men movies are not good.
And the Spider-Man's so young. I'm not into. I mean,
I
I'm
like
cool
that
with him,
one.
but he's so young. I'm like this. It's like starting with a brand new Peter Parker. I don't know if I got it in me. I don't know if I have it in me.
You can just go back and watch Spider-Man 2.
Just cycling through Peter Parker, you really don't have time to get.
I mean, Tobey was the best one, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tobey was the best one.
Tobey, I love Tobey
No
Maguire.
other Spider-Man did this.
No, not Tobey Maguire. No, not Tobey Maguire. No, he did the Staying Alive movie.
Another podcast.
Yeah.
The best Spider-Man movie. That's
Yeah.
another podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I knew that would spark
Yeah.
Royce.
I thought Endgame was epic, magical, thrilling, wonderful, exhilarating, amazing, just flat out wonderful.
Let's go down the dictionary.
Right.
Malcolm X.
Oh my goodness. It was, I loved that it kind of like, I love that comic book movies have taken on in the last few years, like more of a cinematic value in terms of like, it's not just corny action. Like we're just like,
Well,
kind
DC's
of,
still that way, but go ahead.
well, we're just like, well, I'm saying with Marvel, but I'm saying that they're not, oh man, no, I lost my train of thought. They're not, just like trying to blow over story to get to action scenes, but like, and I think that's what makes Endgame so special is because Marvel did take the time over these 11 years, which I don't know what part of development, like what team that is that does all the timing for these movies and has
Those
like
Bibles,
for the last
those
11
movie
years
Bibles.
gone, okay, so this movie then ties into this movie, which ties into this movie, which like, oh my goodness, just how pristine that was done over the last 11 years where everything tied into the next thing perfectly was amazing. But then also they didn't do it at the cost of story, which I think is why you fell in love with characters. It wasn't just like, oh, whatever, it's Iron Man. Oh, like, no, you just felt like, I like these people who just so happen to be...
We fell in love with Nebula.
Superheroes are just people
We
like
fell in love with
us.
Nebula. We fell in love with Nebula.
Right.
Yeah.
Nebula
and
had
so-
a good arc too.
Yeah.
That was a great arc,
She really
especially
was.
seeing the two Nebulas against each
Yeah.
other. You're like, ooh, I remember that one. I don't like that.
I hate
Nebula.
her.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
and you're
right.
like, oh, but this Nebula's like a year difference. So,
Exactly.
it's man, just the hate for Thanos will just make you do crazy things.
So for
And
me,
Thanos is unbeatable too. Like say, we needed somebody unbeatable like Night King. You gotta have somebody you can't beat. That's a great villain.
Well, Thor went for the head this time. But, you
well, I
know,
just feel like
too little, too late.
for me, it's just really beautiful to like say for the last 11 years. Like for me, I'm 33, so these movies have been coming out since I was in my early 20s. So it's literally like crazy to think like all this time in my life I've been giving to Marvel.
Yeah.
We won't go there.
Yeah, I'm giving a lot
I'm
longer
like
than
they're
that.
all over 2 hours to carry the 5. But yeah, so for me, not being someone who necessarily was as much into the comic books, more so just because you guys had them, it's been cool to see like I've been able to get, I think maybe not equally, but really close to just about as attached to them as you guys are. And so for me, Endgame I thought was just a really beautiful story that they told, and I kind of like that the first maybe hour, it wasn't about fighting. It wasn't about. It was literally about like, wait,
Seeing Thor with a gut.
Right.
Like,
Thor with a gut.
yeah, like
know.
I thought it was gonna be like, oh, you
What?
come in and it's like they threw me when it was like 5 years later. I said,
Right.
wait, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Exactly.
How are we getting out of this? Like, what is happening? And so, yeah, for me, I just thought it was a great build and just that.
When they got Tony to
Batman.
come back, when they got, I love, what's my girl's name? Everybody's Stupid. When she first, Ant-Man Stupid. When she called Ant-Man Stupid,
Which one?
was it Nebula?
Probably Nebula.
Nebula.
Nebula
She
calls
means
everyone
that.
stupid.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
would it-
You say stupid man sitting with the ship.
Oh, yeah.
So be
Oh,
careful.
Nebula.
So be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah.
There's an idiot sitting there. Be careful if he's sitting.
Yeah,
idiot
watch
sitting
the
there.
landing. There's
See
an
an
idiot
idiot
coming
sitting
through,
there. I mean, I just look how
Yeah.
they still can dog each other. They got respect for each other, and I love
Nebula's anti-hero.
I love Marvel, Miss Cam Marvel, young lady, just
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel,
Carol.
Carol.
Miss Devers.
She was it. She held that part down. And then they had all 5 women at one point getting ready to
Yeah,
fight.
that
Is that
was-
crazy?
That was really
dope.
nice.
I will say
that crazy?
two moments where I literally was like, oh my gosh. So when Black Panther came out, because
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
But another episode, but what Black Panther meant to me, and I think so many of us, is so special. So even for the 32 seconds that he arrived, I was like,
that's all he needed.
He came on screen, and Byron was like, my king.
My king.
And when he was like, in Bombay, I was like, in Bombay. No, that's not what we're doing.
That was the dopest part right there. I was like, yeah, when he came
and
through.
then when
they all start coming
when
live.
all the women lined up, I was like, yo, this is so fire right now.
And this is such a spoiler alert. When Tony said, I'm Iron Man.
Yeah, because
I mean, you already saw that he died.
That's
so it doesn't get any worse than that.
That's the best part. That's the best. He's like,
here comes the real spoiler.
Yeah, real spoiler.
Like, I'm inevitable. It's like, well, I'm Iron Man.
I'm Iron Man.
That was the coldest part, man.
What were you saying?
No, you good.
Well, for me, to kind of sum it all up and to point out what you said about them having to keep track of like where goes where, that's why I thought like they were so smart. The decision they made to be like, you know what? We're going to take all our property back. We're going to make these movies.
Right.
Because y'all, Sony, Universal, Fox, y'all suck.
Right.
You know? So we're going to take it all back because
Fantastic Four, that's why.
Right. And the fact that like that's what they did, like you think it was crazy keeping track of all these movies, the amount of comic book crossovers and storylines where you had to read Iron Man number 5, whatever, and you had to read Spider-Man just to like get a cohesive
that happened
story.
in the comic book world.
The fact that they had to try, like they needed to have that
Get
creative
people to lay the
control.
land down.
Right.
They needed to have that creative control. And I'm gonna say this first. Endgame, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was the best way to end this. Like it was the Endgame. It was amazing. But I will be that guy.
That's right.
Nobody likes that guy.
I will be that guy.
I knew it.
Royce is blurred square.
I knew he was going to say
I
something.
will be that guy here because I don't drink the Marvel, the Kool-Aid. I don't drink the Marvel Kool-Aid. A lot of people do. I'm not saying you guys do.
I definitely don't drink
I think
it.
he's saying we do though.
No.
He knows
like,
I don't.
way of
just
saying
like for how you were saying like it was such a great journey. For me, it wasn't. It wasn't such a great journey because you had the movies that were great. Like I said, you have Iron Man that started it off. But then you had so many, in my opinion, movies
many
where
hopes.
they did sacrifice story for the interconnection in the big storyline. At least going into it. But then seeing Endgame, you were like, you know what?
Redemption.
It's all
You
okay.
forgave
It's all
a lot.
okay
Yeah.
because here's the thing, and this is where these movies you were at a disadvantage if you read the comics, and this is why I was always so mad coming out of these movies. You're at a disadvantage when you knew these characters, you grew up with these
It's
characters.
like, wait a minute.
Because the film version of these characters, though there are similarities, are different. There's so many things that are different, and they'll throw in Easter eggs.
They jacked those characters so long. When they took Storm out, we won't even. We won't go there. They jacked
know.
those characters so long.
She should be in the
And
next
remember
Black
when I
Panther.
said my journey? I'm mainly talking about Iron Man. It's funny. Not all of them. I like seeing Black Panther. I forgive them for the other ones because the ones I really love. I have favorites.
Yeah, exactly.
I have favorites.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like
Spider-Man should have been one of them.
So going into it, watching these movies, like you guys know, like we said last episode, we'll go into movies. Everyone's like, "That's amazing." I'm like, "That movie sucked," because it's like that's not that character.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, this is not this.
That's what happens a lot of
But
times
then
for us.
there was a moment, and it didn't hit until it was something Marvel did. I forgot which was the first movie. It might have been the first Avengers, I think, first or second Avengers. But before every movie, you have the Marvel logo come up, Marvel Studios, and you would see them flipping comic books,
comics.
and then
Second
it would be
Avengers.
it would be
That's
the
the new
characters,
one.
the
Yeah.
comic book characters being flipped, and you'd always be like, cool. But then they did something where in the second Avengers, that same thing would happen, but instead of the comic book characters, it was the movie.
The movie
It was
characters.
the
Yeah.
movie
Yeah, they
characters.
changed
It was
it.
the
Be more
actors.
used
They
to their
basically
fans.
said we're not doing the
And
comic
when I
book.
saw that pissed me off because I was like, why are you getting rid of the thing that made you make the movie?
Yeah.
Like you're literally saying you right there in that seat who read these comics, I don't care about you. At least that's how I took it.
Remember, a lot of these
You know?
guys aren't coming. If you look at a lot of these guys that work in the studios,
That's was
they
always my
aren't.
question.
They aren't, or they don't remember this. I had comic books. No, man.
Yeah.
You read a comic book.
Did you read
You
them?
weren't.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. You're not Stan Lee worthy.
Yeah,
That's
or
not
it's
my
like,
words.
You'll have
Yeah.
directors where it's
Worthy,
like,
yeah.
I loved Spider-Man growing up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Okay, what? Name me 3 issues.
Did you?
Give me 3 issues.
Yeah, it's like,
But
if I go to your house right now,
Yeah.
you better have a comic
so
book.
again, that's where I say I was at a disadvantage as a comic book fan
Yeah.
because I'm literally seeing like everything that like I loved and I wanted being taken away. But then, after really thinking about it, this was literally for them. This was them fixing the problem.
Yeah.
Because they realized, like, crap. You know what?
We can't do it.
We can't. Yeah, we can't do the comics justice all the time. Even though I feel like they can. If
they could, but they want, like I said, you want Hugh Jackman. You want the Wolverine to be the star.
Well, that's great casting.
Although we love Hugh Jackman.
But that's an example of like you stray a little bit, but still like there. I mean, he stayed true to Wolverine. Except for the fact that he's tall and Wolverine should be short.
Yeah.
But like this was them saying these are the film version. This is the film interpretation. Okay. They've decided to make creative choices, even though I feel like a lot of areas they don't have to. Sometimes they do. You have to change things. But this is them saying, this is the vision we have for them on the big screen. I'm sorry you guys don't like that,
right,
but this is what we need to do to get to the Endgame.
Right.
Okay? And then when they made that choice, this is them saying, like, guys, again, we're sorry. I
promise it'll be good.
But this, we have to let you guys know, this is the filmic, cinematic version of these characters.
But they could have got to the game. They could have got to the game, even if they followed. Followed the comic books.
They could have kept so many characters out.
Because here's my thing, as someone who didn't really read comics, so I'll pose this more as like a question than a statement. Well, one kind of more not a statement. So the first thing being, I almost see it. Again, I can say it easily though, because I didn't really read the comics, so I wasn't attached to comic book version characters of them. But so whoever had a cartoon when we were a kid, that's like my earliest thing. Because I wasn't reading the comics, but whoever had a cartoon, like I watched the X-Men cartoon. I watched I watched that stuff. So I'm like, but I didn't read the comics. So for me, it's kind of like, I look at it as someone who like is an avid reader. I would assume you guys have the same frustration I do when I read a book that I love, and then I go to the movies and it's like the film adaptation of it. But then I also realize, but that book was 600 pages. So I guess some sacrifices needed to be made. Comics, so I would say for comics, so this is my question. Do you think maybe they could have, been more true to the comics than they were, but would they have been able to stay 100% true, given that every world in the Marvel universe has hundreds of issues?
You don't have to be 100% true, but the character has to be 100% true.
Yes.
Your story doesn't have to be 100% true.
So just like the foundation.
No, they did. You had you had directors. That's how directors we like. There's directors we hate.
Perfect.
The directors we hate.
Perfect
example. So the original Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi. You can have your opinions on it, whatever. I am not a fan of the original ones, but they do have the best villains, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of things you can pick and take from all of them. It was a creative decision to take out one of Spider-Man's most iconic things about him, the web shooter. So they took that out because it's a creative choice that they said it's unrealistic that this kid would be smart enough to come up with web shooters. So what we'll do is have them come out of his wrist organically. But, I'm sorry, don't webs actually come out of a spider's butt?
Yeah, that's right.
So if we're going to be realistic,
technically he's shooting this out of his butt.
To that point, I would also say it's unrealistic that a high schooler got bit by a radioactive spider and now can scale whites.
Exactly. No, they did.
And that's the thing.
No, the best thing about this was he runs out. What made it work in the comic book, he runs out. He can still stick. He can still stick to stuff.
And that's the problem I have when you, as a director, the creative voice, to then be like, I know this is the thing that everyone loved him for, but I don't. So I'm going to change this because
they all need to sign contracts ahead of time. Like,
I don't know Sam Raimi's background, but again, he was one of the people that's like, I loved Spider-Man growing up. And it's like, you could have read all the comics and you just really didn't like web shooters. Or you could have been that person that's like, I know of Spider-Man. I know his name. My kids like him. And then you probably read that part and it's like, that doesn't make sense. But then they reboot it. Now Amazing Spider-Man happens. Again, have your opinions, whatever. But the fact that they brought back the web shooters, and it infuriated me that people were like, what are those web shooters? That's stupid. Why is that in there?
That's the original thing he had.
And so now something that's been so iconic, from people who didn't know, you've now taken that from them. And then now they think it's stupid. But then when they watch the movie, they're like, yo, the web shooters are actually really cool. Why didn't you have that in the first movie?
So basically,
You know?
every director should have taken like the Christopher Nolan approach with Batman. Like, maybe I didn't really care about these comics, and I also don't believe that movies should have a continuing.
Exactly.
There should not be part twos.
I love that.
There should not be part twos. Movies should end. Movies should be over. But what I'm gonna do is make this epic.
Make this
and this
so
will be an
epic.
amazing
Exactly.
movie.
And that's when you can forgive. You can forgive Christopher Nolan because you go, it was amazing.
Like, and then you get The Dark
Yeah.
Knight, which not is one of the best comic book movies, but I just think is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is that what you needed?
And they have but they have the right. You know the key with a hero.
Right actors.
You have to have the right. If you don't get the right actors, if you don't get the right actors for.
That's a lot.
It's
That's a
not
lot you
just
have to take into
animation. It's
account.
not cartoon. Yeah, it's a comic book, but it's real to us as a kid. It's crazy. It's like kids now who play with the 3D and they have the goggles stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
You actually want to be that. You want to be more than what you are. Yeah. Everybody wants to be more. Everybody can't become big and strong. That's why they had the Bully in the Sand commercial and advertisement. Every comic book. You try to get kicked by the Bully in the Sand, go lift weights because you want to be strong like a hero. Remember, so everybody got big calves and big thighs. And everybody's, because Stanley said you cut that up because it's got to be that dude. So you're like this guy's something special to me. You live through this guy. You live through the Hulk. I live through Spider-Man. Dude, I live vicariously.
Yeah.
And we're all like this, yeah, man. Okay, the episode where Batman and Robin fought Kato and Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, taking it back.
Yeah, to Green Hornet.
That's a
But we were
Green
like
Hornet
this. We were
right
like this.
there.
They said, this ain't no fight. Because Robin can't fight Kato.
Kato.
But in the
Kato should
in
be
the
fighting
TV
Batman.
version, they couldn't win. We all did this. I never watched another Green Hornet after that.
So I know DC's a completely different universe.
Yeah.
But taking that, like everything, not reading,
Mm-hmm.
disclaimer, not being someone who read the comics. So please don't come for me. I'm aware of my ignorance. But okay, so Batman, remembering the TV show and all that, like there was such a corniness to the TV show. Like it was so cornball. So I would say, as someone who didn't read the comics, that the movies actually brought about what would probably be more of a realistic darkness when you really take into account what these superheroes are doing.
You must have never seen Adam West.
Oh no, but you didn't.
But that's a perfect example because the comics were great.
Comics got no. Royce did tell you.
Yeah.
I never read the dark version.
Yeah, the
When
dark
Royce started showing me the new
versions
version, I said, Bizarro Man, Superman, Venom. I said, who are these people?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So for someone who doesn't read the comics, like, and basically my relationship with these characters has always been on screen. Even before they're in the movies, but my relationship with these characters has always been on screen. Whether watching Batman reruns on Nick at Night or the Saturday morning cartoons, it's always been on screen, and so there's always been like this level of. Cornballness, but like lightness, like cartoons are for kids. So there's like a lightness.
Yeah.
So for me, like, because I know there's a lot of people have commented about how Marvel has almost made like every superhero movie like a pseudo comedy. Like there's all this comedy now, but for me, I'm like, not having read the comics, I'm like, well, that doesn't feel that off because the cartoons were kind of like.
I don't mind it. I don't even mind the comedy. I didn't mind. Nobody minded.
Deadpool
like
was
that.
amazing.
Deadpool was funny. No, anything that has lightness to it.
Yeah.
Blade was fun. Blade had some funny moments.
He did.
So
Another episode.
Yes, but I look at it when somebody's blatant disregard. When somebody like this, I ain't even thinking about the comic book or the TV show. See, some directors came in and said, "This is my version." Like somebody did with Black Lightning. I had to prepare my mind.
Black Lightning, another episode.
And I just said it. They took Black Lightning and said, "We'll create kids they didn't have. We'll do this." When you do that, I like this to watch. The question I asked is, why did you? Well, what turned you on to doing it?
There was a version of Black Lightning where he did have daughters.
One child.
Yeah, so
He didn't have the two.
And he didn't ask him not to fight. He didn't cry. He was like, "Oh, I don't want you to fight."
Yeah, but I mean, so to bring us all back, from that, having that, so then it forced me to be like, okay, I need to stop looking at this from a comic perspective. So then flipping to my other things, since I'm a filmmaker, I'm like, now I'm just going to judge this as a movie.
Yes.
And so then now from that, I'm coming even harder at you because you already ruined everything I believe in. So now I'm going to look at everything
This
that's
has been
wrong.
really
with
hard
it.
for you guys.
That's what I'm saying. It's been a struggle.
It is because how can they even do Endgame without Adam Warlock? And that was my big gripe.
Yeah, but and that's the thing is like most people, if you're not a filmmaker, once you're like, just forget about the comics, you can just watch it. So for me, it flipped to the film side, and then like from that, there's a lot of issues with these movies, and a lot of people don't want to point it out because it's fun and they just want to enjoy it, which is great. Which is again too, which I'm like, I wish I didn't have these connections so I could be that person.
Well, comic book heads are different. Your guys, comic book heads, fantasy heads, game heads. You gotta respect them because ain't nobody gonna go to the movie unless those guys existed.
Exactly.
See, remember, it doesn't. These movies don't get made if these guys didn't exist. So when you totally disrespect them, they're like this. Okay, we get you changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But you spit in my
But did
face.
it change for you looking at it from just a movie perspective?
So no, it probably made it worse because like
They weren't good movies.
because there were a lot of them just aren't good movies, guys.
Well, a lot of them aren't. I think
And-
when I'm talking about like the really great ones, I think I'm talking about for the most part all of like the first ones of everyone's story.
Yeah, and
I toss them ones I don't. No, I do. Ones I don't like, I toss them.
And that's the thing is like
I tossed them ones I don't like.
From my opinion, like a lot of people talk about Batman versus Superman. I don't care what y'all say. Thor 2 is trash. It is one of the worst movies
2
ever
is trash.
made. It is trash.
horrible.
But again, because of the Marvel Kool-Aid, they still gave it like a 60% rating, which whatever.
DC just did
But-
the same thing though. DC did the same thing with the trash movie, and everybody loves it. Aquaman is trash.
Aquaman
I'm
is
sorry.
trash. But at the
It's
same,
trash.
but I feel like they deserve to have a trash movie rated 60% just because of all the Marvel stuff. So
Suicide Squad,
whatever.
I get it.
I'll give that to him. But the thing is like it forced my brain to go in so many different directions where I just was not happy. I was not happy every time a Marvel movie came out. Which is a struggle, but let me finish
I
my
just feel
point.
like, have you been okay these last
No,
11 years?
Royce said movie. What'd you say,
it was
Paige?
depressing.
What's the first thing we do when the Marvel movie's over? We look over at Royce.
Yeah.
The voice is like this.
It's depressing, literally depressing. But that's what I'm saying. It started to click once they made that shift in the title and brought in the characters, and that's where it shifted. Where it's like, okay, I need to just let all that go and understand that this is what it's for. And it's like I'm looking around and seeing all the people who are enjoying the mess out of this movie. It's like, you know what? That was me reading the comics. Despite how I feel, something special is still happening.
Yeah.
You
You're
know,
in such turmoil for like 6 years.
for 11 years.
The
The entire
Until
time.
now.
Yes.
Oh, I
The entire
thought you
time.
said
Yes.
when it switched,
No,
it
no,
got
no,
better
no.
for you.
No.
No, okay, sorry.
The relief
It did.
the relief came the release really came because I hated Avengers Ultron. I hated that movie.
It was
Another podcast.
But
Okay.
the relief came first with Black Panther because again too they changed a lot of stuff. I hated Killmonger. A lot of people love Killmonger. I hated Killmonger.
I hate
but
Killmonger.
the experience was great, fantastic.
Representation, Royce. It's all
Yeah,
about
exactly.
Representation.
But when Infinity War came out, and at the end, I was like, this is it. This is what they've been building for.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not. I don't want to say it's not for the comic guys, but it's not for the comic guys.
It's not.
This is a whole new experience meant for everybody.
No, they did.
And
They got 2 right. Let's face it. They got 2 or 3 right. Of all the ones they've done, they've
got a
only
couple.
got the kids loved them. People
Right.
loved them. But for us, I said
they almost got Guardians of the Galaxy right.
Yeah, we accepted it because I still like the characters. So if you give me characters,
and the thing is, it's funny.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like
fun.
everybody
Yeah,
loves the
it's
fun.
fun.
We're
Yeah.
missing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pluto.
And-
We're missing.
And
yeah.
the thing is, it's like when you look at it from that perspective, and then because not to say they were all bad, there were a lot of great gems spread out within those 11 years, and the fact that we grew with these characters, they're little kids that grew on these versions of these characters, and they, despite how you feel, they stuck to a game plan and they finished it out all the way to the end. So that when you got to Endgame and that moment. I know it took me a long time to get here, but this is that whole thing. The whole thing, I said all that to just say, when they got to that moment where then all of a sudden you hear Falcon on your left, on Cap's radio. And you're like,
that was great.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, I forgot they came back. Because
right,
he
that's right,
snapped, but then you forgot that they were back.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you just see the portals open up. And you literally see everybody come out.
I got so
And we're happy. We're
that
happy.
moment-
We're happy in the movie theater. Everybody was happy.
In that moment, literally, it was like a movie. Literally, just everything went quiet, and I was just like, this is what it was all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This moment, it
Black
doesn't
Panther
matter
came
It's
through
called,
and
what I
it's
felt.
called I Forgive You.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what I felt about
What
any
I'm
movie.
hearing is it took 11 years, 2
Yes.
hours, and 27 minutes for
Yes.
you to
He's been
finally say,
Paige,
Yes.
and
he's
this is
been frustrated. Now you
about.
get what I said at the end. I'm sad because as bad as some of the movies have been and everything, there's a character I'm not going to see again. He's probably the one that's been the most real.
He's the best.
The most
Yeah.
throughput. So I just lost Iron Man. And also, I lost Robert Downey Jr., who I love as an actor. I'm like this. Dude, nobody's going to do a franchise like you did.
Yeah.
And
he was
I
great.
look at Terrence Howard. Fool, how'd you lose that part?
For those who don't know,
I know.
Terrence Howard was in the
Such
first
a
Iron Man.
throwback.
That's the original
Throwing
roadie.
back to 11 years ago.
Can you believe, dude, you lost
lost out on
11 year
Iron Man.
man. So I look at Tony Stark and it was a great heroic moment. Says, I'm Iron Man. I
Iron
said,
Man.
dude, I'm not gonna see him again.
I just
And-
love,
Yeah.
like, I feel like it was so poetic that ultimately, like, you know, Spider-Man, Toby's
Yeah.
Spider-Man aside, I feel like it all, like, it began with him and it
Yes,
ended
it
with
does.
Well, that's
Yes.
what I'm saying
And
with
I-
Marvel Studios
Yes.
taking
with Marvel
back.
Studios taking
Smart,
back,
yeah.
I do feel like it began with him and it ended with him, and it just was. I mean, I was crying like a baby. I mean, like ugly.
Did you?
I was
You
like,
cried?
She cried for real. She was
Did
sitting
you?
next to me, and it's like everything was happening, and she was making noise crying.
Like, I was
because I
making noise.
After he died?
No, yeah, she did.
Like,
She was
while he was dying.
I was like,
because I
yo.
knew he was gonna die, and so like when he snapped his fingers, like and everyone came back.
Yeah.
First, there was just like
Yeah.
there was so many emotions happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just this
I
rush
was
of
like, that's it,
emotions of
Tony.
like. Oh my God, kind of like, oh, this is what we've been waiting for.
Yes,
And then
yes.
also me being like, this is so cool. Like
He had a
literally
child
every
finally, a
world.
child
and a
is-
wife. Girl.
Every
Yeah.
world is together at the
Together,
same time. Like, are
exactly.
you kidding me? That's epic.
was
But
a
then,
good
like,
dad,
when
he was a
he
good
was
dad.
like,
He was a
when he
good
was like,
dad, yeah.
I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
I literally was like, oh my God, that's so epic. But then when he, like, I knew the second he said that, that meant he
Yeah,
was gonna
he was
die.
gone.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
knew when Doctor Strange was like, if I told you it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
knew that was
Yep.
him. Like, I knew what that meant.
Because he's like, if I tell you, you gonna punk out.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
you don't
yeah.
think
You
about,
got a baby.
you don't think about, you gonna be like,
He
I
was
got
good,
a
man.
kid.
Right. He's just like-
Doctor Strange was a really
You
great
gonna be thinking
character.
about Miss
Yeah.
Potts.
You know?
he was the real MVP.
I was about to say,
Doctor Strange was a really great
Right.
character. And his
That's
people.
good casting.
And the monk, the woman that says, I get to see you. Remember
Well, I
had
was just about to
convince her.
say, what a really deep moment. She was
Yeah.
like, yo, he's the chosen
He said,
one.
what?
And
Yeah.
here you go.
So he's the
Yeah.
best of us all. So
What are the stones you need?
Yeah.
right.
When he explained, when he explained the stones to her, he said, but
Yeah.
if he put
Yeah.
his back, she,
Yeah, that's why
But
when
no,
Cap had
it
to go
was
take
so
everything back.
emotional for me. And
Yeah.
then when he was dying, and I just was like, so when he died, when he initially died at the end of the battle, I was already a mess.
Yeah.
And then they had
funeral.
the audacity to show us his funeral. Are you kidding me?
and the
loved
kid
it.
that he said, remember the kid in the garage? They helped him rebuild. That's what that kid that was standing behind.
Yeah,
him.
Iron
Yeah.
Man 3.
Iron Man
Oh,
3.
that's right. That's
That
right.
was
A lot
That's
of
the
people
kid.
asked about that.
That
I
was the
can't
kid.
killing
remember
the old
that. I was
man.
like,
Yeah.
who was that?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it just that the message that he left, and it because it was still just so Tony Stark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
And he
him
killed
knowing he was
Spider-Man.
gonna die, but
Yeah.
ending
Yeah.
it with like, no, it'll be fine.
Right.
It'll be fine. We'll be good.
It killed Spider-Man.
I think
You know,
one thing we
and then-
have to do on the podcast, though, I think we all owe an apology to Hawkeye because he did an amazing job in this movie.
He did.
He
Hawkeye-
became
did.
Batman.
He
yeah,
did.
he
He
did.
pretty much became
You
Batman.
know what, man? Hawkeye.
He's the real MVP. That's the MVP. Is
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
But know why he's hot? Because they took his kid.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
he
the ways
was-
of the
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
he
yeah,
began
yeah,
that
man.
movie.
That's why, because you take Batman's
Yo,
parents.
man,
Yeah.
you
All you have to do
take
is
the
have an
kid.
extreme loss, and you too can be
he
superhero.
changed into another dude, man.
Ronan.
As
Ronan
soon,
was
as
taking
soon,
people
yeah,
out.
as soon as he went to his daughter and you just saw
Yep.
the dust, I was like,
Yep.
okay, let's start this movie. Let's go.
I was like, Hawkeye's about to
he
go.
ran- when he ran to that house.
When Natasha was like, it doesn't have to be like this, I was like,
Yeah.
yo, his family is gone.
Right.
It has to be.
It has
like
to.
this.
He was like, my family's gone.
Like,
You're
Tony
here.
went with my girl.
Killing
Every
everybody.
crime lord who got
Yeah.
to survive
Yes.
and not my family, you must go to make
Yes.
things right.
My
He was
homegirl was
killing
standing over Tony
everybody.
when he died. His wife was. I'm glad she was there.
Yeah, shit,
But it's
you
like
can rest now.
Tony just, dude. He said, dude, I'm Iron Man. And he had the emeralds. It was Thanos' face like this.
Right.
Stone,
You
yeah.
wait there.
I would like to say I called it last episode. I'm like, Only one person has to die.
You
It turns
said-
out two
yeah,
people
you did.
died.
You did
We
say
all
it.
said that.
Yeah, I said you got
Natasha.
died.
Yeah,
You was adamant.
Natasha.
You were
Black
adamant. You were
Widow.
adamant. You were
Yeah.
I was like, because
Go.
for me, I'm like, the only way this whole thing works is Iron Man has to die. And he did, and I was so happy.
And he
it's
died
funny-
with style.
And it's funny too, because a
Man.
lot of people were like, what do you
died
think of the
like Iron
movie?
Man.
And I was like, I got what I wanted, so I'm happy. And they're like, what was that? And I was like, Iron Man's death. And because people know who I am and because of how I've been, they're like, you never liked Iron Man. I was like, first of all, I always liked Iron Man.
Right.
Iron Man's great.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, no, it's
wanna be
what I'm
true to
saying
the
is
story.
it's good that he died because give me one other death that would have been as satisfying as that.
Right. And I'm one
Fat
of the,
Thor?
Nope.
I'm also one of those
That's
people
the
who's like
dude. He is the
extremely
dude.
poetic. So in real life, I also too feel really, even though I do not know this man at all, feel super sentimental about the fact that like Robert Downey Jr. when he first got Iron Man was coming off of like
Yes.
what people thought was the end of his career.
That's what I'm talking
which
about.
is crazy for reasons now. People in this day and age, people
Thank you.
would not care.
Right,
Thank you.
exactly.
like,
Thank you.
like Charlie Sheen, like Robert Downey Jr. was nothing compared to that. But I just feel like they paid that man, like how insulting, one, like he still was a great actor. Jon Favreau had to fight for him to be
Yeah.
in the movie, and then they
Yep.
paid him peanuts.
How much
They
he paid
paid
the
him
first one?
$500,000 for the first
$500,000,
Iron Man
yeah.
because they said he was such a risk for the
Yeah.
studio. So they only gave him
They
$500,000.
paid that back though, boy.
Yeah, they did. And then
Ooh.
some.
He is the single reason why they have what
You-
they
you
have
believe when
today.
he's doing-
Because I'm
When
sorry,
he's
had
talking
that
that
first Iron Man
scientific
not
shit.
worked, none
Done.
of this would have worked.
When
None of this,
he's
if we
talking
hated
that
him,
shit, man, turn around.
none of this
boom,
would've worked.
For the
Yeah.
two. What is it? When he does that, no one does it like him. Turn it.
and
okay.
he has like,
Yeah.
and the way
Yes.
that his like sarcastic arrogance
Yes.
is still lovable.
Exactly.
So like even when Civil War, when like him and Cap were
Yep.
going at it, it was like, okay, Tony, sometimes like you are really just like all about yourself. But,
Yeah.
but then you're also, but he's
And-
so
and
like
that's-
he has such a good heart.
And that's a perfect example of somebody
Yeah.
who stayed true to the character
Right.
on screen, on the page.
He
Right.
is Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
100%.
And it's like they've even, what I loved is they even did nods to there's a storyline where Tony Stark deals with alcoholism.
yeah.
You know, and like they even hint on that too.
Right.
So like it's
They did Iron Man well.
they did Iron Man well.
Hulk not
and
so
then
much.
Speaking
Yeah.
speaking with the
Yeah, Hulk
with the
was
OG
Hulk was on one because of what? He
Well-
never got a chance to make up from getting punked.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But another like origin too that I think is overlooked, and we look at Captain America.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because nobody cared about him.
Well, why am I tripping on his name?
Chris Evans.
Bucky?
Yeah, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, yeah.
The fact that we forget this guy, known for like almost being kind of like a Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
type
Right.
guy
Like a
in the
bro.
movies he was doing
Yeah.
before.
He OG Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Started as Johnny Storm.
That's right. How could you
was-
convert? They took a chance to convert him from Johnny
Which I
Storm
will
to
say
this.
on the record, he was a good
He was a
Johnny
really
Storm.
good Johnny Storm.
Way better than Michael B. Jordan.
Where am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, way
Yeah.
better. And the fact that he came from that, and I believe because I remember he said they offered him Captain America. He's like, "Do you want to be Captain America?" And I feel like he was even like, "Bro, I was just Johnny Storm. That didn't work out.
Right.
I can't do
Wow.
this." And I remember him saying like, "This isn't." He didn't feel comfortable. Almost like let somebody else have it, but they were
Right.
so adamant. So the fact that he almost didn't take that role because of another role that messed up.
Right.
But like as Captain America,
The fact as a white dude, he got a chance to take two of those roles.
I know.
Man.
Another
Touche.
podcast.
Not a lot of black characters.
Oh.
But
You
and
can play Sister
the
Spooky
fact that like
still.
that origin, and that's what led to the two great, the Iron Man and the Cap. Like you needed those two, and both
They-
They had
actors.
to be
I think
total
I don't know about
opposites
you guys.
for it
In
to
my
work.
opinion, of all of it, those two perfectly cast.
Yes.
Like if no
Yes.
one else worked, the fact that they worked.
And two perfect endings. My man sitting there as an old man.
Yeah.
Came back in 5 seconds. He like this.
Yep.
He said, Iron Man told me to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Old Steve Rogers.
I also,
Yeah.
I
Here's a
think that
good
was
question,
perfect casting because for me, of all the, even not reading comic, like Captain America, I could have cared less. When I found out they were doing Captain America movies, I was like, I'm sorry, I do not want to see this
Yeah. He's got
a shield.
1940s, super, like, I'm going to say it, super whitewashed.
Yeah.
I am America. We're like his greatest power is his patriotism.
Yeah.
Like, I just
Yeah.
really don't,
Yeah.
I don't want
So he's Tom
Yeah.
Brady.
Right,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
don't want to see that. Like,
Exactly.
I'm not interested. But then I wasn't gonna see it. Then the previews looked super dope, and then we
Yeah.
went and saw it, and I was like,
He got us.
Is that always Captain America?
Right, exactly.
Because I don't know, Captain America
I
kind of cute.
love the skinny. I love the skinny Captain America. Remember that?
I know.
He was
Yeah.
trying. He wanted to be in the military so bad, man.
But then it was just such perfect casting for that, and I just feel like, and I've for the most part have like thoroughly enjoyed like all the Captain America movies. He has stayed, I think, for me.
True.
Whether you liked the story or not,
he
him
stayed true.
and Robert Downey Jr. Stayed consistently true to their character. Like, I think the foundation of whatever their characters were for screen, that's what they were consistently without skipping a beat.
Right,
for the last like
Marvel
11 years.
does have a problem though, because now if they do another Captain America movie, it's Anthony Mackie as the Black Falcon who wants to go see that.
They're gonna go. They always say that, but
It's
they
not,
go.
it's not as believable for Anthony. Here's the problem. I was thinking of another great black actor to be like, oh, well, if they replace him, they have to grab somebody, name somebody. That can be, they can't use my man from This Is Us.
They'll find somebody new.
Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
I would love him, but they already used him in Black Panther.
They'll find a new one.
Yeah. I don't
He's
know.
not a big
find
enough
one.
draw. I don't think he's a big enough draw for people to go,
But to
hey,
think about
I'm
it,
gonna go
Chris
see you be
Evans
Captain
wasn't
America.
a big
Chris
draw.
Evans wasn't a draw?
Chris Hemsworth was not a
Well,
big draw.
here's the difference is though, they've already established Captain America. You got to go, okay, who's better than Chris Evans right now?
And at the end of the day,
They'll find someone.
the names of those characters
hope so.
alone, people are going to see.
Yep.
The passing the mantle to him, that whole storyline of
That's
him
real
being
in the
Captain
comics.
America was the most recent, I think, of all the storylines. So a lot.
That's why I told her. She's like, that really happened? I was like, yes.
So I agree.
That's
I
why
don't know
Terrence
how many
Howard's like
people-
this.
He's not
could
even
be
in
Captain
Captain
America.
America.
No, could have been.
No, he
No,
was
no,
in
no,
it.
he's
He
Rhodey.
wasn't-
He's Rhodey.
Yeah, he
yeah,
was
wrote it.
War Machine.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. It could work. That might just be something.
I hope it works,
He'll probably
but-
just come in crossovers.
yeah.
But with that, I think it was really well done. The only two issues I have with it, one, we didn't get the Hulk showdown. I still think y'all did Hulk wrong.
nothing.
Y'all punked Hulk.
He needed.
But I will
he
say
needed
this.
his
When he
moment.
came back, he was like,
But I will say this, complete storyline aside, and I know you gentlemen will not appreciate it, Hulk did come back a zaddy, though. Hulk was cute. I was
But
like,
you know what
Hulk.
they did?
Hey, Hulk.
One thing they did,
Hey.
what they did kind of smart was
Hey,
that way
Bruce.
he could be around the whole time, rather than be around as Bruce Banner. If he come back as Hulk, you only had a couple moments of him hulking up.
That's all we needed.
You know what I'm saying? I wish he could have gone from that
he
and
fight?
hulked up.
Yeah.
he did.
We didn't even.
I wish he could have hulked up. I wish he could have had where he had lost it. He needed a moment at Thanos. He needed a moment.
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah,
Just to
and
hit
even
him.
if it
Just like
wasn't
one,
like
just-
an old
Yeah.
Hulk moment, because
Yeah.
I personally thought how it was going to go, like, oh, he's figured out how to get the best of
Yeah,
both
exactly.
worlds.
So then he'll
So
just
now
get
he's
mad.
got the consciousness with the strength. Like, that's powerful.
Yeah.
You know, everybody got a chance to take a moment at Thanos.
He was
If
the
Thanos
only
about to
one.
hit somebody, I was hoping Hulk be the one to take him.
only
Remember
one.
me?
Oh, yeah, he was just
remember
inside.
me? Yeah.
So speaking of that, one of the best parts of the movie, when Thor was about to die and you just see Mjolnir come through and it just, I was like, and he's like, I knew it. I love that part.
Yes,
Because
yes.
Cap worked the mess out of that hammer,
Yeah.
boy.
Yes, he did.
It was just
Yeah.
boom, boom,
Use
boom, boom.
Thor's
Yeah.
powers way better
Better than Thor
ever
did. He's like,
Yeah.
you're on the ground, lightning.
Yeah.
You're up, lightning. Hammer. I was like,
and for
yo.
people who don't know, that him actually being worthy enough, they teased that
When it rocked a little bit.
Yeah.
in Avengers: Age of Ultron. Right at the beginning, they're all hanging out, and
You see his face when you Thor's like,
HQ.
hey.
Thor said, I knew it.
Yeah, I knew it.
Which that was a great moment. They're all pretend like having their moment trying to
Yeah.
pick up the hammer, and Cap goes and it moves a little bit, and you
Yeah.
see Thor kind of sit up and be like, "Wait, hold up." So like so that was just like that's
That
another
was
plan where
great.
they're like, this is gonna happen.
That was an
guys.
amazing.
I love what he said.
That was an
He said,
amazing.
give me the
moment.
big one.
Can we
Yeah,
just
he's like-
pause
he's like, "Here,
and
you
think
get the
about
little one."
like the timing of that, like with their production management in the sense of like, so in this movie that's going to be 5 years before Endgame, we're gonna hint a small little hint that a lot of people might forget,
Right.
where they're just playing around and Cap makes it move. We will never deal with that again until
Yeah.
he full out has it,
Goes crazy.
and beats the mess out of
Which-
it.
Well, then
That
he had
was
to go.
crazy,
He had
man.
to go bring it back because everybody, a couple people online was like, "Well, he still had it with him when he traveled back in time." I was like, "Duh, he's got to give it back to
Yeah,
the
so
old
he,
Thor."
Yeah.
so yeah, because
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, so he just jacked.
No, he
Past
took it
Thor's
with him like it's
hammer.
always
Yeah, I know.
at his
Yeah,
feet,
yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
he's got to go give it back because the old
Yeah.
Thor
Yeah.
has to get it crushed
So,
by Lady
so
Death.
with that, I want to bring up another point, which again I thought they did a really great job. this might be one of the best takes on time travel.
Right.
Has ever done.
Ant-Man explained it very says
Yes.
like, Back to the Future was all a lie.
No, Robert Downey Jr. They did a great job on this.
So
funny.
I give them props because just forget superheroes from a sci-fi fandom
Right.
perspective. Time travel, that is just one thing where it's just like either you try to stick to it and it just gets crazy, or a movie will just deal with it like Back to the Future. Like, this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna set the rules for what time travel is.
We're setting the rules.
And so for them to decide that your whatever you do in the past does not affect
Yes.
your future or your present.
Right.
All you're doing is you're
That
just creating an
timeline.
alternate timeline.
Right.
And I was like, that's perfect. That's how
They
you
fought each other,
Right.
Yeah.
but we not realizing.
Do you guys not time travel that way?
One of our
Well,
favorite.
you know, I've had a couple
One of our
mishaps.
favorite moments
Capacitors.
was Loki, where everybody's fighting. He's being Loki like, I'm still in that shit. Loki is the only one. When everything's going wrong, Loki's like this. When everything
He's locked
else,
up. He's like, I can't wait.
I
he's
have a
I'm
theory
getting
that they put all this together. They did the whole time travel thing just so they can bring Loki back to life.
Yeah.
And that's what I said too when I was in there, because afterwards they didn't even deal with the
No.
fact that
No,
Loki
Loki was
was
just
gone.
gone.
Was gone. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, so let's go back to meet your dad and
Which
get
brings
everything.
me
Let's
go
to
get another
another
one.
moment I thought was cool. Cap fighting Cap.
Yes.
Wasn't that funny?
That was great.
And he's, when he dropped, he's like,
So funny.
He goes, I know. He goes, I can do this all day. I know.
I know.
I'm corny.
No.
I'm sorry. I know.
And wasn't it great when Thor met his mom?
Yeah.
Oh, when he saw
I
her.
didn't.
Yeah.
No, but who was still cool? The new was still
I love
cool.
Rocket.
The Rocket.
Rocket is-
Rocket still.
Rocket's one of my favorite
Rocket
characters.
grew on me.
I just want to say shout out to Bradley Cooper for
Thank
being
you.
part of the
Can we
Marvel
talk about
universe
Bradley
Yes.
without
Cooper?
ever having to spin a
No.
dance.
Let's give a shout out to Vin Diesel.
Yes.
Gets paid so
Shout
much
out.
money to say it
Yo,
once.
Marvel,
I am
whatever
Groot.
y'all got
Still
coming
need me.
next,
Right.
I would love to be in a movie, but I'm willing to take the Vin Diesel route.
Right.
I'm willing to take the Vin
Gotta
Diesel
say
Because I feel
more
like whenever they had
purple.
their party, their after they were done shooting,
Rap
Vin Diesel
party.
showed up. I feel people are like, "Why are you here?" Oh, that's right. I
I
forgot.
know.
You're-
It's like, who are you getting?
I forgot. You're great with
And
that.
Dave Bautista, man, he's still always great.
I love
yeah.
Drax.
He got his little stabs in the
Drax.
back.
I whoop your ass. He has the
love
worst
Drax.
sense of timing on the joke.
And with that, so like going back to Thor 2, I was glad with how that thing ended, because Thor is a perfect example
Yeah.
of a character they did not know what to do with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure out how to make him. I feel like they're the ones that he's the character they struggled the most to, where they were trying to do it comically accurate in a sense.
Well, because after the first one, they was like, let's just turn him into Star-Lord then, because that's all he is now.
Yeah, exactly. So Thor 2, I think, was the point where they were like, we don't know what to do with this. We can't make his world work in a world that they've created where it's just a bunch of Tony Starks. Every character's Tony
Because he's
Stark.
too
Right.
powerful,
Yeah.
and they didn't
Yeah.
know how they're trying to
didn't know
calm
how-
his
And I
power
would
down.
say that I feel like outside of the Hulk, I honestly felt probably, I mean, if I was going to have a gripe in all the 11 years, probably felt like I never really got to fully experience the power of Thor.
Exactly.
The final fight,
is-
though, he
Thor,
did.
But I'm saying Thor is a god.
Yeah.
Thor is a god. He's not even human. It's not Tony
Yeah.
Stark. He's not Captain America who went through. He's a god.
But nobody don't
So
get a chance
for
to
me,
know.
I'm like, you never.
You don't get a chance to know Thor because Thor is a doctor with a cane.
So
His human,
in the
his human
comics,
self,
so this
his
is
human self.
So this
he's
is-
a doctor
So he's not a
who
god?
walks. He's
No,
a
he
god.
is. This
But
is
his human way to hide.
His perfect
He's a
example.
doctor with a walking stick.
he's the only one that they
Crippled.
I think the only one they sacrificed his alter ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
so that's another example of like there's
Marvel
a
was
whole
like,
part.
no.
And I was
There's a whole
pissed
part
at
of
that.
this
Yeah.
character
That was a big
people
part of
will
him.
never
So that
know.
was his
Yeah.
Clark Kent.
that
he was
that
young.
was
He was
No,
young.
I'm
They were
saying, I know,
comparing
I'm not
that,
saying
yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
was. We don't have
This-
guys. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying.
no, no, no. That's
this was
Like,
the issue.
listen to the word like.
No,
It
no.
was
When I
like
say
his Clark
beyond,
Kent.
he really had an affliction. He limped.
And-
He didn't fake a limp.
And I
He
think
couldn't
this,
walk that
and I
leg.
think this was the issue they had with Thor, because by taking away his alter ego, they took away the human side of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
when
now
he's
just a
when
god.
he's just always a god, there's only so much you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he talks in his olden time speak. That gets dull, and it did get dull. So by taking that away, I feel like that was another mistake they made.
Do you think power-wise though they really like?
Oh no, they
I don't
still
feel like
They
they
have-
still never.
The final fights you got a little
Yeah.
bit, because when he was like
Yeah.
good, he was like, all right, we're good to go. Can we go kill him now?
Yeah.
He's like, yep.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Literally,
my
all the
issue.
lightning, and
Yeah.
I was like,
But
okay,
that's
cool.
my
He's
issue
raiding.
with Thor. It's always like a moment.
there's always
It's
a moment.
single moment where
And-
it's like, oh, there he is.
But you know
The
what?
best
He has so
display-
much. He has so much power. Thing is, he's the only one that got to punk his power.
Yeah.
Because Thor has so much power. No fight should last long.
The only time we saw it was in Infinity War when he came through
Came back.
and just
Right,
started
that's
jacking
true.
people up.
Yes.
Other than that, we saw it when Captain America was wielding his hammer.
Yeah, because he was like, "Is this?"
Because when he knocked Thanos back and then brought down the lightning as
Yeah.
I was like,
Yes.
that is
Why has Thor never done that?
How did
Thor.
you know how to do that?
Right.
Because Thor doesn't know.
You've never been able to pick it up, but you know how to do this very
Right.
well.
So I'm glad we got to see the powers. I just wish it would have
studied
came
Nordic
from.
tales and
would have
stuff.
came
It's
from
I will also say that I appreciated with Endgame, like going back to me loving that it like started with Tony, ended with Tony. Because I wasn't sure how they were going to do it, like when everyone was going to come back, how that was all going to work. And I kind of like that the majority of the movie was that kind of core group that that started this and that have like been kind of the dominants in this journey.
And they
And I think since Hawkeye hasn't gotten so much love, he got a good chunk of the
finally
movie.
because they knew they had to do something, and they knew they had to do something with Black Widow, like that scene where they were literally like, "I'm gonna sacrifice myself," and they're like, "No, I'm gonna sacrifice myself."
I'm just a human. No,
you
I'm
don't
just
get
a
to
human.
sacrifice yourself. I sacrifice my. No, you don't.
So
I'm trying. I still don't care about Black Widow, and I know they're gonna make a movie, and I'm just like,
I didn't either. And then literally when she's like he's hanging on to her, I'm like, why do I feel?
How do I feel?
I feel things.
Feeling
Why do I
things.
feel things for Black Widow?
I was like,
There's a tingling in my soul.
you feel things for Scarlett Johansson, not Black Widow. That's
is
what
true.
it was.
Well, I feel nothing for Scarlett Johansson. But I also feel her tingling. So.
Yeah. No, I mean it's.
You shouldn't be feeling for Scarlett Johansson.
I'm just saying, as an actress, she's amazing. That's all I was saying.
Yeah. And then Nebula, like another character
Nebula was
which I didn't
great.
care about, but this show or this movie brought that full
Her arc
circle.
was fantastic.
And the way they handled her traveling to the past and seeing her own memories, I was just
That
like,
was dope,
y'all, you know, they figured the mess out of that whole thing.
Even
And
though I
it's-
know it had to happen, I was a little sad that like out of everyone, Gamora at the end just wasn't like
She wasn't
a
Gamora.
part of.
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
Gamora. It was
wasn't
like.
Gamora. Yeah.
But that was a
like, I
smart way
get
for
it.
them to bring her back.
When
because
she
they're
needed, when
bringing
she
him
needed
back.
him up, man, when she goes, oh, he liked this.
She's
like this
that
one? I know.
Yeah.
And so another thing too, going with like the not Back to the Future, but the time travel thing, because a lot of people afterwards were like, well, how come when Nebula killed herself, she didn't disappear? And I'm like, guys, remember, because that
a real
Nebula
thing.
is not her from the past. I mean, technically,
It's actually two different
Her
times.
from the past,
So
but
it's a
not
different
her present.
timeline.
but that's not the past her. That's not her future. So
Yep.
when she
Right.
killed her, she just killed that timeline's Nebula.
Right.
And that's what I was thinking when they went back. When Cap went back, there's another Cap fighting Red Skull and doing everything else. He was like, I'm just going to chill
Exactly.
over here and never be
I'm just
seen.
not gonna run
I
into him.
forgot there was a female Thor.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the
When
new
she
Thor's
Look at me
female.
over there.
Yeah,
Googling.
so
Yeah.
that's another thing is they might
Female.
move on to
I
that.
thought that with Jane when she went
No,
up.
are
she
they
got
going to
us-
do an As Guardians
Yeah.
of the Galaxy? Because they do have,
yeah.
they are filming Guardians of the Galaxy 3 right now. It's like,
Exactly.
that will be
But-
funny for a while.
Yeah, and to bring that up too, I mean that to go into now the aftermath of Avengers Endgame, because yes, this was the end of the originals,
The OGs.
the OGs, which I appreciated that the whole movie was just like, remember this time, guys, remember the first Avengers, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking
Even
to
when they
that,
did the cool
I do have
cutbacks.
I do. There's another Thor coming out,
Yeah, there is.
right?
Yeah,
Why?
I have no idea.
reason why there's
Okay,
another Black
because
Widow.
for me, I'm like,
So women like him?
Because for me, I feel
Yeah.
like Endgame was closing the chapters on Iron Man, Captain America, should be Thor,
yeah.
the Hulk, and
Hawkeye's done. Like,
well,
he's
no,
like, all right, I'm
as
back
far
to my
as
family.
and who else? Am I missing someone?
That's it, just how it's the 6.
Yeah, no,
Black
that's-
Widow's
that's all of
dead.
them.
Black Widow. Okay, yeah.
Black Widow.
So
It's
like
the original
closing,
6.
I feel like it's like should be closing the chapters on them.
Yeah. What? Sorry. What
No,
did you
but
say?
I guess for me then, and I don't know if any of you have the answer. I'm like, now Endgame has happened. Thor goes to do. I'll look at it
That's
after.
Dr. Donald Blake.
Okay, Thor goes then to do what?
I don't know. I don't know what they're
He's in the
what storyline
galaxy,
they're
yeah.
gonna do, but that's a good question because what I think they're doing is they got rid of the two anchors, you know, of that original.
Well, Loki's back now.
So and the thing is, it's like I understand why they're like we're not gonna kill off everybody.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna let the two main ones have their time because there's really nowhere else you can go with them.
Just to say this,
And they didn't
Yeah.
renew their contract.
we're coming
They didn't renew the
up on 2 hours now.
Yeah, we are.
Oh,
Well, no, but
wow.
if we do a part 2, then this is
No, so
wow.
part 2. No, so 2-parter as 1 part.
And we got 12 minutes on this SD card.
Yeah,
okay.
It's counting.
yeah.
down.
It's two.
but
Yeah,
that's what I said. That's what
it's a 2-part as 1 part.
But it's good to close this out because I feel that they're still leaving for Hulk will still be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. You know, they can't do a solo Hulk one because I feel like they can't figure it out, and Universal still has the rights to
Exactly.
it. But I
They
think
have so many other characters now that they have the rights to.
Because I think they're leaving them one just so there's still a sprinkle of
They're the mentors.
of the originals, and just in case these new guys don't work out.
Got the old guys.
Remember,
Hey guys, remember these guys?
Hey, so it's not working out so well with them.
We got
Yes.
these.
Like when you take the guys off the bench, all right, new five. It's like,
Yep,
ooh,
yep.
they're not scoring.
So
Come
then,
back.
to your point of aftermath, at this point, I know we have another Black Panther that's going to happen. There's
Michael B.
going to
Jordan's
be another Ant-Man and Wasp,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Correct?
I believe there will be.
which I'm sorry, I have to admit that I forgot to watch those when they came out.
Actually,
So-
I never even watched Ant-Man and Wasp, so I have to go back and watch.
She
it.
just
Okay,
went.
so I watched them after Endgame because what's the quantum realm?
She didn't know what the
Yeah,
quantum
so
realm
when,
was.
when Ant-Man came out of the quantum realm, the movie started, I looked at him and I said, oh no,
Right,
I don't know what's
When
happening
the
here.
rat brought him back.
I know.
I was like, why is he in the van?
The Rat, the real MVP.
Yes.
The
Let's-
real
let's-
MVP. Let's
save the
really
universe.
talk about
The
that.
rat saved the universe.
Let's talk
Ant-Man
about
was
that.
like, we should
Yeah.
time travel.
Save the rat, save the
Yeah,
world.
exactly.
Oh, was that like a
And I
hero's
love how
reference?
I love how Ant-Man knows what he doesn't know. You know what the thing, what?
And the thing is, and I love the fact that Ant-Man's the one who came up with the plan. Because again, what a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know from the comics,
Right.
Ant-Man is one of the
scientist.
OG Avengers
Right,
in the
right.
comics.
Because even on my shirt, and I was like, oh, I'm going old school right now, and I had the big Ant-Man, and I had to
Yeah,
explain to her.
He's
Hank
50
Pym.
years old, man.
Yeah,
I
Paul
knew
Rudd's
what
50.
Ant-Man
Shout out to
was.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, man. Jesus, brother.
Great
Looking
man,
good, man.
great.
50?
So
Look like a
I would like
kid.
to point out that his comment right now was not correct. I did know who Ant-Man
No,
was.
the original Ant-Man.
What do you mean?
The Hank Pym story I had to explain to you.
No, you said Michael Douglas is the original Ant-Man. That was how
Per
you
Marvel.
said it.
Yeah, per
And I
Marvel.
was
Yeah.
like, wait, was there an old Ant-Man movie starring Michael Douglas?
That would have been good, actually.
No,
I would
that
have
would've been
That's
nice.
how
I would have
asked.
watched that.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
that
See
came out.
Marvel.
But
Grab
see-
Michael Douglas.
yeah, so that's an example where technically they didn't have to stick to that storyline because honestly, Hank
Understand.
Pym, that Ant-Man wasn't very interesting. There was a storyline where he was abusive. He was an abusive guy. It got weird.
Oh,
They
Really?
did on Wasp
But-
on Ant-Man 2. They did shout out Black Goliath.
okay.
They did.
But wait,
It's funny.
what I was saying though was there's an for what we know, there's an Ant-Man and another Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out. There's another Black Panther.
I have the whole timeline. So.
There's gonna be
Another
another
Guardians.
Thor, another Guardians,
Another Spider-Man.
another Spider-Man
Spider-Man's
with
coming out
the
soon,
with
Which
this
is coming out soon.
Yeah.
with the young one, right?
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
Okay, and then is that as far?
There's,
no,
there's
there's like-
more.
There's
Oh.
like
I believe there's more.
It's like 20.
Do
more.
y'all remember
We'll do it next show.
Mantis?
Yeah, Mantis.
That was Carl Lumley.
Really?
Yeah, Carl Lumley, the actor.
We have now
Yeah.
gone on our
Yeah.
phones and we're Googling things, so I think
No,
that means it's
no, I was
time.
just trying to find
I
a
think
Marvel
that because you
breakdown.
guys were on camera as well, so please don't forget that.
It's okay.
No,
I'm
no,
looking
it's
on
good.
Marvel stuff for everybody.
No,
There's a
I'm
nerd
trying-
right now. It's like
I'm
I got
trying
the
to go
whole
through
thing.
all the things because we're talking about everything. I
Yeah.
forgot. There have been brothers. People forget. There's always
Yeah.
been us around. It sprinkles in and out. It's
Got it.
sometimes we're ahead of our time.
no.
You know, and just didn't catch.
Yeah.
So now that all these things are happening, I'm going,
So-
wait a minute, I wonder if they'll bring
It's
some people
somewhere.
back.
So now I know a lot of people are asking, okay, what's the next big thing? Because they're going to build to something else.
Right.
And they're not just going to start doing these regular solo movies. So my prediction, Byron's prediction, that he mentioned last episode, but it was, we can't get too much into it, but there's this character
cut me off.
called Galactus.
Yeah.
What was-
Eater of Worlds.
Eater of Worlds, Destroyer of Worlds, whichever. And he's the only one that could potentially, depending on how they do it, even be more
Bring
epic than the
everybody.
Thanos.
Than Thanos.
That's
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Adam
Oh.
Warlock has to come and
He's
everything.
a villain.
He's
No,
a villain.
Galactus.
But he eats
Yes.
world.
I don't know if you
Titans,
remember
there's-
in Fantastic Four 2, the one
Yeah.
with Silver Surfer.
He was smoke.
Yeah.
He was a cloud
Yeah.
of
That
smoke.
black smoke.
Oh.
Yeah, but he's
That's
not a
it.
black smoke.
He's a big purple
Yeah,
head.
they did it all wrong. But
So
they
turned him into
They
Black
turned him
Smoke.
into
And
Black
it
Smoke.
was
Yeah.
Made him a brother.
Budget cut.
Made him a brother. Made him a bad brother.
But the
And
thing
Silver
is,
Surfer's so powerful.
So-
that one.
Yes.
so for those wondering, like, oh, is this as epic as Marvel can make it? No, it can get even more epic.
Doctor Doom.
But it depends. Yeah, and so with the Fox merger, you can now bring in
There's a
the
lot of people
X-Men.
That's
You
what
can-
I want.
Yeah,
That's a
you
whole
now
nother
can do
podcast.
Fantastic Four, right? So there's so much more they
Do
can
we
build on.
want Wolverine without
That's
Hugh
gonna be
Jackman?
tough.
I don't
That is gonna
He
be-
died at the wrong time. I know
He died,
when
he probably died, and then they got the rights. And
right. He was
said,
like, mother.
They said he set the
God, he's
bar
doing Greatest
so
Showman.
high.
He's good.
Yeah.
But here's my thing:
He
if
set
they
the bar
can decide
so
to bring
high.
Killmonger back,
Right.
I mean,
I'll let that slide.
Well, there's a way in the comic books that they brought Wolverine back too, but that's fine. And
I
Ryan
know, but
Reynolds
I
is
also-
really trying to talk
but
him
then
into
I'm
it.
also,
Yeah.
but then I also
Hard.
feel like the way Logan ended
Ended, like,
was just so epic.
you
It
can't
kind of like
belittle
takes
that.
away
That did
from
make
that.
me-
can't
yeah, that
belittle
made me
that.
sad.
That's
Yeah.
like Robert Downey Jr. come back like, no,
Yeah.
man.
Because just like how Endgame completed that,
Yeah.
Logan made up for all the mistakes.
Logan
of
was
that scene.
fantastic. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Wolverine
Yeah.
2 was just
So just so you guys know, if you don't Google Galactus, that whole storyline, it could be so epic. So I'm
It's
excited.
amazing.
I'm excited. I know I'm still
Amazing.
gonna hate a lot of the movies that come out.
But I'm glad
But-
they got the library back because it does
Yes.
lead more stuff. It does more
X-Men
things.
better get fixed. I want
Yes.
real Phoenix powers. All these young
I
kids
just feel
gotta
like
go.
that needs to stop because I think this is now their second attempt at the Phoenix.
Well, this is the
and-
last thing because now that with the
Yeah.
merger, pretty
Thank
much
God this is it.
our Marvel's like, okay, you guys had your run, you screwed up
Right.
everything. Let us handle it from now on.
Can we
So
just
I'm
get a
available to
standalone
be
Magneto
Storm.
movie?
Oh,
Like,
you
just-
be
there we
the
go.
storm. I could be old guy that helps
Marvel,
people.
Right.
Disney. I really
So-
should talk to Disney. Hi, Disney.
Right, exactly. They're
I'm
the real-
available.
I can just be the old guy
I'm
who
really
helps
big.
people.
I can play Sabretooth.
My
I'm just
talents
saying.
include making thunder happen whenever I want, making it rain, controlling the weather.
And she can do it a
turning
lot
my
better
eyes
than
white.
Thor.
Yes, I can do it so much better
Captain
than
America
Thor.
can too.
Right.
And I come with my own
She
wigs.
fights way
So-
better than Khaleesi.
I'm
now-
attitude man. I'm attitude man. I bring
No,
attitude.
you're Black Goliath. I've decided.
This is
Yeah.
Black
You were-
Goliath.
you were
There you
starting.
go.
You know, I could do that.
But guys,
I could do
we
that.
got 5 minutes
We gotta
less
go.
on this
All right.
SD card.
Oh, man.
So
All right.
let's do our final goodbyes.
Cool.
All that stuff. So thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you guys are still listening. This was a long one.
You're probably
Man.
not, but
No,
but
they are.
good
No,
to
they're
get
gonna
it
come back
out.
later. You can't watch. You can't take it all in one sitting.
You can't.
Yeah,
We're gonna
you
split
really
this up.
can't.
We're gonna
Yeah.
split this up. But let us know what you guys thought about Endgame. If you thought it as epic as I was,
Cool.
let us know. Did you guys feel the
amazing.
same struggle I did watching all these movies, the good, the bad, taking it all? If so, hit us up at Blerd Empire, BLERD, not
Bam.
Blerd like Vision. At
Bam.
Blerd Empire, BLERD,
Bam.
Empire, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Boom.
Let us know.
Yes.
Talk to us. Hit us up. And then also we're on YouTube with the video, so hit us up
Yep.
there. Check us out.
World According to Sinbad on
World,
Bam.
yeah, the World According to Sinbad.
Bam.
Me personally, again, I'm Royce. You can find me at Roy Beckley on everything. I also have a comic book at Biopunks Comic. You can .com.
Biopunks Comic.
It's not as epic as Avengers.
Oh my gosh, yes it is.
Yes,
Not
it
yet,
is.
but it's
Yes,
gonna
it is.
get there.
No, it
I was
is,
like,
boy.
Yes, I know. I think
It's-
I
And
we can't
appreciate-
wait-
We don't have time.
We can't wait till they make
say
it.
how
They're
awesome
gonna
I
make.
am,
They're gonna make.
guys.
They're gonna make a
We can't-
Biopunks movie. They're gonna mess up all your characters.
No, 'cause I'm gonna make it.
And I'm gonna dog you. And I'm gonna be getting the audience. He didn't even follow the comic book.
It's fine. I'll blame
He
it.
didn't even follow the comic
blame
book.
DP.
I'll blame it on
He's
my
my
DP.
son.
Yeah, right.
But
Why is Biopunks
guys,
so
do it
dark?
quick. We're running out of time. 3 minutes left.
Okay, my name is Paige. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. Paige Bryan Official.
Byron L. Hopkins, aka Big Black Nerd. And now, like these had to say, now you can go to the podcast here coming out sometime soon. You can go to Instagram page, YouTube page, Facebook page, Big Black Nerd Show. Big Black Nerd Show. There you go.
I'm Superfly Jones.
Well,
Superfly Jones.
a good
You
movie.
can catch me anywhere. Superflies hang out.
we're all the Superfly thing.
Superfly Jones. Also, you can find at Sinbad Bad.
Sinbad Bad,
on
aka
everything.
Superfly
Check
Jones.
out his YouTube channel.
Superfly Jones
No,
be
no, no.
flying.
No.
His YouTube channel, The World According to Sinbad.
At
You'll see the video feed of this podcast. You'll also see another show that he does called On the Road with Sinbad.
Superfly Jones.
It's
It might change to
literally
Superfly Jones.
documentary, like day in the life, following Sinbad on the road. It's great.
Superfly Jones.
Oh my gosh. We have to release these poor people.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yes.
This
Oh
has
my
been
God.
extremely long. But again, thank you guys so much for listening.
Blerd
Catch y'all
Empire.
in the next episode. Paige, sing us out.
B-L-E-R-D, 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 B-L-E-R-D. I'm Blerd, you a Blerd, you Blerd, but we are the B-L-E-R-D.
I like how you did your own echo. That was good.
Why were you interrupting?
You ruined
Man,
the
you missed the
echo,
fade,
man.
man.
You ruined
You
it. You,
messed up the
Byron.
Man, you
Freaking
missed the
Byron.
fade, man.
I'm
Dang
sorry.
it.
Echo. Go, take two.